Some more fans, my name is Composite Enerjoe, and today's review is a special one. As you can see, we're in my secondary review area, which I reserved for my much bigger figures. So today's review will be on the Transformers Studio Series Titan class Devastator. Pardon that. So let me bring out each of the Studio Series Constructicons in their combiner modes. First up, we have Long Haul as the right leg. Then we have Rampage as the left leg. Next up, we have Overload as the sort of back, chest, and legs. Then Scavenger as the upper, I guess the torso, legs. This is chest and shoulders. And then for the right arm, we have Scrapper. So Scavenger, Scrapper as the right arm. And then Scrap Metal and Hightower form the entire left arm. And then we have Mixmaster as the head. And here we have the the Studio Series Constructicons in their combiner modes, or at least before I put them together. So here they are. So to not take up too much time, let's start with combining. Oh, and before that, there's also these two extra accessories. This came with Overload, which you just pop onto his head, on Mixmaster's head, like so. Pop on like so, and this is supposed to complete the actual barrel look that to his mixing thing, his mixing drum. There we go. To have this open rotating mixing drum that he has in his combined mode. And hold on, there we go. There we go. Now I lined it up. You have to like really mess with it just to line it up properly. Angle that, and it's good. Then we have this other piece, which I'll show off later. Actually, no, I'll just put it on now. It actually goes onto Overload. Right there, you just plug it in here. And that's pretty much it. So, let's get on with the combining. So, Constructicons recombine into Devastator. Alright. So, first things first, let's get the left hand going. To combine these two, you just have this little combiner dongle into this port. Just plug it in like so. And come on. There we go. Oops. Make sure everything's lined up. And here we have it. And you know what? While I have this, it's going to be a little easier for me to show off. Let me show off the articulation of this left hand. So first off, you have, at least I'll show you the close-up articulation. So you have hinge, hinge, hinge. This is basically the thumb. And then these are ball joint, ball joint, ball joint, ball joint, hinge, 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 and then they can also open up a little further if you wanted to. Hold on. Yep. There you go. So you have extra hinge and extra hinge. You really wanted your fingers to have fingers, so there we go. So this is now the left hand. So now let's get ready for the actual combining. So let's get to the legs. Next we take Rampage. And how to combine is that you slide it through here using this thing. So slide it like so. Be careful, this is at least on mine, it's a very stiff connection. So there we go. That. Now long haul, we do the same thing, but it's there with these little pegs. So you just slide down. Again, very stiff, so just be careful. Come on. Hold on, little technical difficulties. Okay, All right, I got it in. So just slide it down. And here we have some adjusting. Here we have Devastator's lower legs. Put it back there. And now we get to what I consider to be the trickiest part of the combination, which is mix master to hold on, let me take this. No, I can leave it. I can leave it there. Which is mix master to scavenger. Now what you're supposed to do is you have to get these little clips here. As you can see, these clips needs to clip onto these pieces here. And to get to, and not only that, you also need to make sure that this also pegs into the inner tires here of these wheels. So to make it easier, let me unpeg this piece, open up to get clearance so that you can maneuver. So I recommend you do this to make it a little easier. You go in here. Here. Come on. Put that first one. One click. And come on. Second one always causes me grief. Second click. Oh. Put that back into place. There we go. So click, click. It's good to go. Do some adjusting. Make sure these go in. Oh, hold on. More technical difficulties. Alright, got it. Basically, this is what it's supposed to look like. Hopefully you can get it, but this has to be inside of those tires. Right, and then you can just make sure this slides down and just adjust this back into place, you know, adjust this, fix that, and then plug this back in. It's a place, and I recommend plugging this in because it keeps keeps the head in place. Then you slide that down and you slide this up for looks. And there we have the head and chest, and then make sure everything is, you know, connected properly. There we go. And now let's have the head. Now let's have the entire pieces combined together. And I'm really stretching here, so I'm hoping I can get this into frame. But what you're supposed to do is slide this. Hopefully you can see it. Slide this into here. Like so. Well, first you hold on. You gotta slide. Just slide. You gotta move that over so that you have clearance, and then just slide this down. Go. Slide it down, and then make sure everything's in place. Start thinking moving out of whack. Then you slide this up. And unfortunately, these pieces here do not really plug anywhere, but they don't really plug anywhere, which is a little disappointing. But they get the job done of covering his chest. And here we then have the arm, which you combine by sliding in here, this is the most combiner. This honestly reminds me of Combiner Wars, so I think they carried that over. And then for Scrapper, it's the same thing. Now be careful, this guy's actually really heavy. He's a lot heavier than you think. He's very, very solid, so then you slide this down, hopefully. Really hoping I got all of that in frame. So, there you go, it's all nice and clicked. And, let's see if I got him in frame. Okay. And then here we have the Studio Series Titan Class Devastator. I'll explain why I'm calling him Titan Class during the size comparisons so that you can get where I'm coming from. But yeah, here he is. And I gotta say, he looks amazing. I feel like every time I look at him, he looks better and better. So let's get a close-up on this head sculpt. And my goodness, that is horrific in the best way possible. That is an amazing head sculpt. The detailing on this figure is just astounding all around. And well, since I'm here, might as well show off the might as well do the articulation. Sorry for the thumb. So yeah, the head doesn't really move. The only thing that you can really do is open and close its jaw. It's got nice rows of teeth here, and that's it. He doesn't really expand like he does in the film, unfortunately. I feel that would have been a little bit too much. Although it would have been amazing if they could pull it off. But where was I going with this? Oh, he's not like 100% accurate, but I think he looks fantastic. I think he's like, it's close enough. I would say he's around like 85 to like 90% accurate. He just looks amazing. So then, onto the arm. We have a hinge here. We have a hinge here that goes up and down. You have this swivel here. You have another swivel here, and then this is a bend. And then I already showed off what the hand can do, but that's as far as it goes. I'm not really going to show him off too much because he's top heavy, and I feel like I got to mess with him a little bit more. Yeah, you may have to mess with him a little bit just to get him like all tidied up, but he is very, very solid. So that's that arm. This arm is pretty much the same. Same thing here. You have a hinge here. Then you have a hinge there, same here. Then you have a hinge here, and then hinge here, and then these also move. Now for the lower half, you have hinges here. You have universal joints, I think is what they're called, where they go in, they can go out, in, forward, back. There's a swivel here at this thigh. They don't really have knee. There's not really a bend at the knee. But this one I do have to show off a little. I do have to show this. It's kind of hard for me to explain, so let me move this out of the way. Oh, and then you also have this little joint here. So you can do that. This is a little bit difficult to explain, but Rampage, each foot is like its own different type of articulation. Because Rampage can go up and down, left, right, no side to side, but he can do that. There's that. While he can go up and down, and then has the ankle. It has an actual ankle pivot. I'm gonna have to like adjust them later to get them how I want. But yeah, so that's a Devastator's articulation. So for what he is, I think he has plenty of articulation. Like I'm really, really blown away by this figure. So yeah, that's his articulation. I think the only thing he's really missing was honestly a couple more things, maybe a couple more details. But I'd honestly say overall, this is a fantastic, like outcome, like result of this. This is amazing. Oh, another detail is that the little stand I used so that you can use to hold up Rampage, I just put it in there and left it in there, like where it gets stored in its vehicle mode. I left it there. And it works quite nice. It just looks like an extra toe for Rampage. You know, add extra toe for Devastator. So yeah. So now since that's the overall figure done, let me get the. Hold on. Let me do the size. Whoa, the size comparison, and then I can get to a little bit of information. My goodness, he's huge. Put him back a little more. Lower that piece. There we go. I think I got him all in frame. There we go. Yeah, I'm sorry for the angle. I'm not really a professional. So yeah. So there we have Devastator. So now for size comparisons. Here we have Cliff Jumper. And then here we have Ratchet. As you can see, he is massive. But wait, I also have one extra figure I want to do a comparison to. And this is one that I feel gets compared a lot, or at least I think it does. Let me move this up to the side. And it's gonna be, and also this will answer like maybe the one person out there who sees my videos and was wondering if I have any Titan class figures. Well, to answer your question, I do. And here's one of them. Here is the, for size comparisons, my guest, the Transformers. My goodness, it's gonna be huge. So here we have the Transformers Combiner Wars Titan Class Devastator next to his Studio Series counterpart. And as you can see, the G1 Combiner Wars Devastator may be taller than this one, but he's not that much taller. But I'm telling you, he's heavier. He has the mass. This guy just has the height. And as you can kind of see, proportion-wise, this Devastator is a little slimmer in some areas. And you can see his arms, I feel, are a little bit too short. But, yeah. And I feel that, even though he has the weird proportions, I mean, that fits the character, he's a lot more sort of low center of gravity. He's a lot more dense, if that makes any sense. You can tell he's bulkier. While he's a little slimmer, he's definitely bulkier. So yeah, here we have the two Devastators next to each other. And this is what I wanted to explain. As you can see, he's massive compared to even this Devastator. Like, this Devastator is not that much. I can't even say he's bigger. He's taller. But I think they're roughly the same amount of mass. It's like crazy. This guy's made up of 6 Voyagers, but this guy's made up of like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 Voyagers, 2 Leaders, and then 2 Deluxes, which can make up another Voyager. So that's basically, let's say, 7 Voyagers, while this one is 6 Voyagers. No, this one's also 7. 1, 2, hold on. See if I can remember. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Yeah, it's 6 Voyagers. Yeah, I counted right. 6 Voyagers. But yeah, with I think that long haul is basically leader class. I'm rambling. But yeah, here we have this comparison, and as you can see, this guy is massive, and so is this guy. So that's why this is the comparison I made, where I decided to make this one a Titan class, since he's honestly about the same size as this one. He might as well be a Studio Series Titan class, and as far as I'm concerned, he is. So let me put this back down. Let me get our guest Devastator out of the way. And yeah, for like whoever out there was wondering if I have any Titan class figures, yeah, I do. It would that Devastator being the very first Titan class I ever got. And I'm really happy about it. So yeah, this is Devastator, who I now am calling a Titan class because of, previous information. Well, because of the comparison I just did. So yeah. So what do I say now? I guess let me do a little bit of information. First thing, for those of you out there who have seen my other combiner videos, you probably noticed that I've done something. My format in this video has been a little different. Mainly how I approached these combiners, this team of Constructicons. And what I mean by that is that if you see my other, and this isn't really a plug or anything, but if anyone's curious, basically, if you're wondering why in their individual reviews I didn't show up their combiner modes, to explain that is basically I didn't think I would get the whole set. It's simple as that. So I just didn't think ahead to include them in their reviews, because this set here, Devastator here, took me, and I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it took me almost 2 years to complete. Starting from release is basically from scrap metal all the way to Overload, who I kind of jumped the gun a little bit and got him a tiny bit sooner. Like, I basically just bit the bullet and just ordered him, and I hated paying the extra money I did to get him. But I didn't want to wait. I just really wanted to see this complete, because it honestly did basically take me like almost 2 years. I mean, it would have taken me basically 2 years had I waited for Overload to like come out normally. But I didn't want to wait anymore since he was the only one I was missing. So yeah. That's why I didn't do it. Now I also thought about including in this video, like me transforming each figure into their combiner modes. However, when I did it, I was lost. And I think I ultimately, with help from like looking up other videos, I was able to do it, but it took me over an hour to do it. And I didn't want this video to be that long. So I didn't. And then I also thought about maybe making a separate video of me showing how to make them in their modes. But honestly, I don't want to do that. I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to do that. To me, the worst experience I've had with these Constructicons was getting each one into the combiner modes. Now, combining to form Devastator was fun. Each individual figure is great and fantastic on their own, going from robot to their vehicle. But getting them to their combiner modes, with the exceptions of, I think, Scrapper, Scrap Metal, and Hightower, which were the easiest ones to get into their modes, I got frustrated, especially with, like, Scavenger, Overload, and especially Rampage. Rampage was the worst to get into that foot mode. I don't know if anyone else, like, really struggled with it, but I couldn't figure out the instructions. It was Rampage that I decided, you know what, I'm just going to look up videos, and I did, and they helped out greatly. Long Haul, I'd say it's sort of in the middle. He's like, he's not too bad. Just there. But, yeah, Rampage really frustrated me. So, yeah. So I personally do not want to do that. So, if you want to know how to get each figure into their combiner modes, I'm going to recommend to you what I did. And I don't know if this is considered a shout out or not, but I'm going to recommend videos for another Transformer YouTuber called The Freaking Geek and his review videos. Specifically, I looked up the videos of his I think it's called the the Just Transform It videos, which is JTI, on each of the individual Constructicons. And in those videos, he goes from, I think, robot to vehicle and from vehicle to combiner. And using that really helped me in combining Devastator. Especially, once again, with Rampage, who I really, really hated getting him into his foot mode. And that, honestly, and that with, like, Scavenger as well, who was a kind of a pain to work with. Oh, and Mixmaster too. Mixmaster was annoying as well. You had to, like, do some really fancy stuff for that. Or maybe it was me and I just got frustrated, but it doesn't matter. But yeah, so yeah, that's sort of why, that's sort of my explanations, well, my clarifications, really, into why I did this particular combiner, this Devastator, in this format. It's not my usual format, because usually what I do with combiners is that I get the whole team, I review each one individually, and then end each individual review with them in their combiner mode. So that when I get into this video, I just do what I just did, which is just combine them all together and review and review the Gestalt form. But fortunately, I personally do not want to do that because I just got really frustrated with getting them into their combiner modes. That I don't want to do it again. That's honestly, I feel, is the biggest negative I give to this whole set, is that their individual limbs was just more annoying than I expected it. So I am sorry. I've never done this before, but I've just never been so frustrated with it. So I just don't want to do it again. It was not a fun experience. But other than that, this spectacular. I am blown away by this. This is amazing for what it is. And it's just, I'd give it 5 thumbs out of 6 if I could. That makes no sense, but I don't care. I really like this, especially since it took me almost 2 years to do it, but I'm super glad I did, because this thing is amazing. I cannot recommend enough that as a fan or as a collector, is anything that you'd go out of your way to complete this, because this looks awesome, in my opinion anyway. Like this, this is amazing. I honestly am still blown away by this thing. So yeah, this is Devastator. What do I think? Fantastic. I think I kind of made that very clear. So yeah, this has been my review of the Transformers Studio Series, and now I'm classifying it as Titan Class Devastator. This is Composite Enerjoe signing off. Peace out and be safe.